But people think that, well, if I really dig into my problems and I really think about them and I get really serious about them and I get really intense about them, then I'm going to get an answer. And you would think that would be the way. And people do think that that's the way, but it's the opposite, which is kind of confounding to people's minds.
In a way, the more you free your mind,
the more you free your mind,
the better it does.
The better off you are.
Yeah.
The more you have freedom of more space or more freedom in your mind, would be a platform for insight. But when people want an answer where they feel like something's wrong, or they feel like they need to fix something, they attack it with their desire, their want, their need, their intellect, their insecurity, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It works the opposite.
Because even when you say it though, right, like it seems to just make such natural sense. You know, like to have such opposition to something that, let's say if we go back to your realization even around moods, if we seem to have such an opposition or a will for something in us to be different, it seems like that would be a difficult way to cultivate more ease or gratitude in our life if we're so clear that something has to change and it has to change soon as well.
Mm-hmm. That gets in the way. This has to change. The attachment to the change gets in the way of the change. The desire for the change gets in the way of the change. Being down about the fact that you haven't changed gets in the way of the change. Yeah. So it's almost like in order to change, you have to accept the change. I mean, you have to accept how you are in order to change, would be another way of saying it. Accepting how you are and forgetting about yourself allows you to change.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what people think.
For you then, George, when you said that you don't have a question as you're moving through life, has that been that there's something that has been satisfied, or has that just never been the way that you've kind of looked or perceived life?
Let me take my time with answering this. I think that people can have an understanding of life that, an understanding of life that fills the void that they feel.
Mm. Because when you have a question, you have a void, don't you?
Yeah.
And when you have an understanding. But one thing I've noticed about you, George, that you in your life, because I think this answers the question, you've always had a lot of faith.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about religious faith. I'm not, because people would, usually when they say faith, it means religious faith. It's just faith in life.
And the other thing that I have going for me, now that you mention it, is I'm comfortable in the unknown, not knowing. So that really helps me because I'm not in a hurry to find answers.
Yeah.
So I can get reflective, and when I get reflective, the answers come to mind. And that's what really has helped me to have a nice life.
Yeah, the idea of not being in a hurry to to find answers. Like that, just it almost seems like that you're almost taking yourself off the clock or something. Like it feels
Right.
like there's a release of pressure that I'd say a lot of people feel in feeling almost the opposite of that.
Well, that's why I Linda would call it faith. So faith is faith allows people for answers to come to mind in their own sweet time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what faith
That's
does to people.
that's uh, that's gorgeous. I've never heard of fate put that way. That it's the trust that the answer will emerge. Really,
Right.
Mm-hmm.